everybody, what's up and welcome back. If you're new here, I'm Liz, your host here at Crimes Untold, and welcome to my YouTube channel. So if it's your first time, I talk about true crime here on this channel, and obviously from the title of this video, you kind of guessed that this is about a crime against Pride during Pride Month. So each year, technically since I started this, so last year was my first Crimes on Pride Month, and you guys loved it. So I'm going to continue that every year following. I also will have some of these cases over on my podcast. I kind of been lacking with my podcast, but I'm going to get back at it because I actually really enjoyed recording for the podcast. Anywho, so I wanted to just kind of talk about a few things that have happened in the true crime world before we get into today's true crime case. So, obviously, the biggest thing that has happened is Danny Masterson was found guilty of 2 charges of rape. That's pretty big. If you didn't know, Danny Masterson was arrested for rape, and on 3 counts of rape, and it's all people that he was either with or worked with, and they're all a part of, I believe was the Scientology community. Yeah, they were all a part of Scientology, and he was released on, I believe it was like a $3 million bail or something like that, awaiting trial, and his trial happened, and they just found him guilty. Also, another thing that I just found, hence why I have my phone, is that a true crime fanatic wanted to kill somebody or see what murder was like. So she met somebody online and killed them. So this woman is in South Korea. She was 23 years old. And I guess what she did, she was arrested in Busan on Wednesday. And she met up with this woman online and decided to meet, and she ended up killing this woman and dismembering her. So the person that we're talking about, her name is Jung Yu Jung, and she was indicted on murder yesterday, so on June 1st. So she claims that she killed this woman when they had an argument, but then she recanted her statement. It's super, super weird. And the article that I'm looking at basically goes on and says that she basically committed premeditated murder. She was obsessed with murder from different books and TV shows that she had watched, and she really wanted to know what it was like to kill somebody for real. And her phone, when they looked at it, showed like history of hiding a corpse and different things that you could do in order to hinder an investigation after killing somebody or hiding your crime after killing somebody. It's really, yeah. So if you're a true crime fanatic, and you have that urge, you don't act on it unless you're truly messed up. But I digress. Yeah, let's get into today's true crime case, shall we? So today we're talking about the murder of Michael Boothe. This murder is unsolved, which is really sad to say, but it is true. So this is a tragic and senseless murder. And basically what has happened since his murder is it forced an overhaul of different policies that the police had to follow when it comes to the LGBTQIA plus community. And during this time in particular, this happened in 1990, the gay community was filled with threats and attitude and filled with hate crimes. And the reason for this is so he was murdered in England. Specifically, he died in London. What I want you to know, what is important for you to know, and after watching the last few minutes of this, don't come at me in the comments and saying, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. Well, this is for you. Section 28 passed in England, and what this is that gay sex, which is what it's written as, gay sex would be, it in the future would be decriminalized. This Section 28 basically said that you couldn't promote homosexuality. So if you were gay, you were in the wrong. And this passed in 1988, so 2 years prior to Michael Boothe dying. And it would be overturned, or gay sex would be decriminalized in 2000. It doesn't make up for the fact that how many people died prior to decriminalizing actually being able to be who you are. And Section 28 made it so that anybody that was affected by hate crimes due to being homosexual, lesbian, whatever you identify as in the community, nobody would get any satisfaction or any clarification when it came to the crimes that happened against them. So on the evening of April 30th of 1990, Michael Boothe was just simply walking home. And the area he was in is known for it to be a meetup place for gay men to hook up. And this was a little past midnight when he was walking by a set of public facilities in this area. This is when a group of 6 men pushed him to the ground and started violently brutalizing him. So I will have a link to the eyewitness website to the attack in my description box below, because there was somebody that actually watched this. And I feel that there's a lot of good information on there to what the eyewitness saw. Michael was kicked, trampled, beaten, and stomped on. Once the group of men felt that they were, done, they just left him there. So Michael would be found by a couple who heard him crying as they were walking by, and he would be brought to the hospital, where ultimately he would die because of internal bleeding from his injuries. Michael Boothe's killers have never been found, and he was 48 years old. So there was a group called Outrage that was formed in response to the murder of Michael Boothe. This was a LGBT plus rights group that was in operation until 2011, and they helped with the advancement for rights in this community. This, because his killers have never been brought, or basically arrested or brought to justice, or his case hasn't been, how should I word it? Because he hasn't had any justice for his murder, this case is still something that lingers in the community. His case, specifically in England, will always haunt the community. And hopefully one day there will be charges brought against who killed him.